All right. We're here. Happy Saturday morning, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
You're all like, you made me get up early on a Saturday morning, Jody. We hate you. Is that what you're thinking, Kaylee? You sleep in on Saturdays?
No. No.
Well, that's good.
Doesn't let me.
Evil parents. That's what goes down in the world. So much fun. We're just giving people a minute to join us in the chat, and then we'll get started with this panel of awesomeness that we have in front of us today. I'm pretty excited. Everybody having coffee? You guys are tea drinkers, aren't you?
Tea.
Tea.
Oh, coffee all the way.
Yeah.
At least 3 cups before you even talk to me.
So what time did you get what time did you get up to have your third cup here?
Very early.
9 a.m. I gotta get up at 6 to get all my coffee in. Yeah. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Vera Lynn. Good morning, Kaylee's mom. Yeah.
Are you gonna wave, Kaylee?
The same look.
Okay.
Kaylee, that's the same look I still give every morning when my mom tunes into the coffee. Just so you know. Good morning, April. Thanks for being with us this morning. All right. Well, we're a little bit late today. That's kind of the way it goes on Saturday morning coffee chats. We start 9-ish, and that's just fine. We are excited this morning. Hang on, we get Corey, the other one who's supposed to join us, just texted me, oh shit. We'll just tell her to come on in and join us when she gets here. So anyway, welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. This is our place of community and connection where we hang out Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m.-ish on Saturdays. And we're so excited to have some extra friends joining us on this Saturday as we wrap up the celebrations of National Volunteer Week. I thought it would be fun to hear from a group of people who were all awarded being Volunteers of the Year in the community of High River in Alberta this week and just have a little bit of fun. So welcome award-winning volunteers. How does that feel?
Very foreign.
Well, and I think what's always interesting with people who really dive into the joy of volunteering is you're not doing it for the recognition and you're not doing it for awards, and you don't actually really want us to point out the things that you're doing. You want to stay behind the scenes and get it all done. And here we are forcing you out of your comfort zone to talk a little bit about it. So if we can figure. So Trish that you see, you wave Trish. So her and her mic actually works really well. Her and her husband, Mike, own a small business in the community called Mr. Mike's, which is really a coincidence at the end of the day. And they have been rewarded it in the business category. Lorraine and Bonnie, that you see with the magical headsets, have won it for the group category. And ladies, I don't want to take away from the significance of the things that you're doing, but I'm most excited, honestly, about the gal who's below me on the screen, Kaylee, who's won it for the youth division. And Kaylee, I say that because when we see people volunteering, us old gals of the community, when we see people volunteering starting at your age, it's really, really exciting because you and your generations around you are the future of volunteering in a community. And so it's really cool to see when youth step up to do some of that volunteering. Even if it's because you have to for school credit, we still really, really, really think it's cool, Kaylee. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, you just had a sweet 16 birthday. We'll embarrass you the most first, and then we'll let you just hang out there off the hook for a second. But you recently had your 16th birthday in basically lockdown life. How was that? Was it kind of weird? Probably what you expected.
Yeah, it was very different, but it was fun.
You got lots of cards from the community, though. It shows I mean, did you learn, like, is it interesting from a 16-year-old's perspective? Because it's too many years ago now for me to remember, but to see that outpouring of support from complete strangers in your community for your birthday?
Yeah.
And what was it like to hear that you won a volunteering award?
I was shocked, but it was a good feeling. It was like proud.
Yeah. And I bet your family was pretty proud too.
Yeah.
I mean, your mom wasn't screaming it all over Facebook or anything. Not even a little bit. What kind of volunteering do you do, Kaylee?
I volunteer at the daycare, and we do like field trips and stuff. And then I did Food for Thought, and I did a Millerville market. That one was a long day.
I bet.
Yeah, and then I do small stuff for the Foothills Connect.
Nice. Well, thank you for being a do by example kind of person in the community. That's really good. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well, guys, look, Corey made it.
Hi, guys.
And I want to say from the adult division, she won her award in the adult division. Now, are you comfortable? And I sort of alluded to this yesterday, but I didn't want to tell the story. But would you share when you got the call, the story of what you thought that was?
Yeah, for sure.
So
Well,
funny.
it was sort of like this morning where I just woke up and the phone rang and here I'm winning prizes and I thought it was a prank from somebody. So I sort of just went along with it. I was like, really? And so in the adult division, hey, what have I done to deserve that? And she was like, no, this is real. And I was like, so what do I win? And she said, an award. And I said, not a trip to Mexico or something. And she's going, no. And then finally I was like, is this for real? Like, yes. And so she held the phone up at the town office and got everyone to say, yes, this is real. And then I was a little bashful. I thought, oh my goodness, what an honor. Sorry, I just made a joke.
Well, and also that you thought being called the adult division, like you thought someone was making sort of a saucy, sexy prank on you, that you weren't.
Yeah, I thought,
adult
what,
category.
did I hear that right? What did I hear in the adult division?
So funny. So it's a little bit shocking. So Trish, for you and Mike at Mr. Mike's, like to be recognized as a business in a community that is putting their heart into their business, how does that feel?
It felt pretty fantastic, but honestly, it was one of the reasons Mike and I opened up the restaurant in the first place, right? Like we just felt that it was an avenue that we could use to, give back to our community even more. I mean, both Mike and I grew up with parents who volunteered a lot. And Kaylee, I hate to tell you, someday you will be my age. And when you have your mom pushing you, you're going to end up in this chair when you're older too. So good job, girl. So yeah, so it was nice to be recognized. It's not why we do it. But it was nice to be recognized. And, like we still feel the community gives us more than we give them. So yeah. Kind of cool.
Yeah. So Lorraine and Bonnie, the dynamic duo of the community, getting the recognition is like the last thing in the world you want. And I know this from getting the distinct, lovely opportunity to work with you ladies a lot. But does it feel pretty humbling or exciting or surreal to get that recognition? Because I mean, you guys have done a lot in the last year, a lot.
As
you can tell, we're prepared.
No, it's kind of like we don't know how to feel because like we just like flying under the radar and doing what we do, and we do it for the enjoyment of being part of the community, helping people stay at home when they need to, or enjoying the lights or whatever we're involved in. It's like we're just doing it for that. So
you just like all the things happening, and so it's great. But can you, and I know this is going to make you uncomfortable also, but that's what today's about for a minute, is can you share some of the things that the two of you have helped out with in the last year? You guys ready for this list?
I don't know if I can remember them all. See, so we've done food rescue, and then filling snack shacks, and
That morphed into the grocery delivery.
the grocery delivery for the past year. Heritage Balloon Festival, usually. Little Britches Parade, Santa Claus Parade, Light Up George Lane Park,
The skating rink.
the skating rink, Light Up, the Light Up Halloween and Light Up Christmas contests. I think that takes us to the end of the
Our
year.
High River, Heaven Can
Oh.
Wait.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those ones.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, they're just getting a little plug in. There will be a Mother's Day fundraiser for Heaven Can Wait coming up, so
Yeah.
be on the watch for that.
Good, good. Like
Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
that's what we all want. So that's awesome. So thank you for that and appreciate it. Corey, what about you? What are some of the things that you've been involved volunteering with?
Well, I primarily do like with groups. So I have Foothills Angels, obviously, where I volunteer in the community with you and Dina are the other angels. And we've got a lot of sort of angel allies, which Mr. Mike's is one of them. And so we get to work alongside with these other volunteers in many aspects too. And the Canettes, obviously. So I've worked with Kaylee and her mama. Doing some great things. Namely, one of the things I've been instrumental in is the Water Tower Park. That was sort of a project that I was on the smaller committee. So that was a fun thing we did in the community that you guys will remember. And Habitat for Humanity. I just recently resigned from there, but up until a few months ago, I'd say since the flood pretty much, I've also been a big part of Habitat for Humanity. So we've had 2 builds, one in High River and one in Okotoks, which were also just really amazing and rewarding to be a part of.
I love that. Well, we got some messages coming in for you, lovely panel. Congratulations to all of you from Limelight Audio and Media. Oh, thanks, Mike. We'll just get a little business plug in there. Kathy, good morning. Welcome to High River's Volunteers of the Year. Kelly, good morning. Scott's with us. Good morning. Congratulations, everybody. Lots of those fun things going through. So my question for a panel of people involved, and you can each take a moment to volunteer your answer, because now I'm volunteering you. We'll start with Trish, but like, why is volunteering important in a community?
Oh, it makes the community run. Like, honestly, we have some fantastic organizations in our community, the Canettes, Food for Thought. And I mean, those are core to our community. And if they don't have volunteers and they don't have people to help them fundraise and they don't have, the community support, they're not going to be there. And those are organizations that the community needs to survive and to thrive, right? So yeah, if you have 5 minutes, I mean, it's just important to get out there. Plus, you get to meet everybody in your community. I mean, I've met, most of these people on this, on this Facebook just because of, volunteering and being out in the community. So it's so important for a community. A lot of communities, it's how communities are run. The smaller communities, they need the volunteers or else things wouldn't happen. The events wouldn't happen. So yeah, so get out there and support them as much or as little as you can.
Lorraine?
I would say everything that Trish said is big time. That, I mean, one of the reasons that we got involved to start with was, I guess, a way to, it's like, I remember driving around George Lane Park and going, just being marveling at the lights and whatnot, and going, well, I kind of have to do something to make sure this, if I enjoy it this much, I should be doing something to make sure that it continues for other people to happen. And then it just kind of kind of grows from there. That it's not, I don't even really think of it honestly as I'm volunteering. I'm just out doing the stuff that either needs to get done or a way I can help or anything, just being out there and getting things done.
Bonnie?
And of course, she stole my story.
Yeah.
But actually, no, I was thinking it was because it was the lights at George Lane, and we decided, like, let's go and be part of that. And one of the things, I guess, that I like about volunteering is all the things that you don't expect to get out of it. So as we were putting up the lights, everybody that was out walking their dogs, they were like, thank you guys so much for doing this. Like, you know, all of a sudden you realize, okay, it's not just me who likes the lights. Like, there's everybody here likes the lights. I think one of the other benefits is we now know pretty much every street in Northwest High River by name. we don't need to get out the phone anymore and figure out where are we going. But yeah, we've met like even our regular grocery drop off, you know, like chat a little bit kind of thing now. So we've met people that we would never otherwise have met. So it's been beneficial that way too, especially for us hermits. So
yeah, we've forced you out of your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, Kaylee? Why is volunteering important?
I think that youth need to be more active in the community and support the community and get involved.
How do we get you? How do we get more of you? Do we have to promise cookies? Because we could do that. Just hopefully your good sense will rub off on your friends. Corey, why is volunteering important for you?
Yeah, I think like the other people have said, it just, well, when I started, I guess I had young kids. I've always been a big volunteerer from a volunteering family, like Trish said. So it was just sort of something you do. I had to laugh when my kids were little. I caught them playing silent auction. they would set up silent auction and play it with their stuffed animals and things, and so you you volunteer a lot when but, yeah, it's evolved over the years, and honestly just anything that my kids were a part of, be it schools, clubs, this and that, I was always in there like a dirty shirt, probably just to stay at home mom, it's something to do, but you also know that you can make a difference, and if you want things to be around, then you need to support them, right? So that's how it started, and then it sort of evolved into groups that were long-standing and less about my kids, I guess you could say, more about the community at large. And yeah, it's just something I really love to do. Anyone who wants to have some fun should check into the Connects and the Angels and things like that, because it really is as nice as it is for the community, it's just fantastic to feel a part of those groups and to be involved. So yeah, it's definitely win-win.
Well, and definitely I would think probably all of you could attest to the fact that in meeting that you make new friends, you form new connections, and it's interesting to read up actually the amount of health benefits that comes to you in mental health and your overall health and wellness for being a volunteer. There's like science behind it. It's pretty cool. Bev, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
We can't see you, but we can hear you. And welcome to our volunteer panel this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
So Bev and another gentleman named Ev Doherty, who isn't with us this morning, but it's his birthday today, so maybe he's getting wild and crazy. You never know with Ev. He's a wild one. But they share the title of award winners in the seniors division. And so Bev, congratulations on just continuing to be that shining example of volunteer in our community.
Well, like Corinne said, it's the most amazing mental health, because I sew, I quilt. And so someone said, oh, it's a snow day. Well, no, for me, it's a sew day. and I make things for the gift shop at the hospital, and it's open. So baby quilts, table runners, placemats, microwave bowl holders. You know, quilters always have what we call a stash.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to use up the stash, except I think the stash morphs in the night. So there's more things to make.
Yeah. But I love that. And I feel like every time the weather is not as beautiful, I'm just going to think about you just sewing away.
Yes.
Have you been somebody, Bev, who's like volunteered in your community your whole life?
Yes, I've been here 40 years. And I think the first volunteer opportunity was the Handy Bus. And a group got together to get High River Handy Bus started. And then I spent years on the Abbeyfield board. And I've worked in healthcare, so anything related to healthcare was always on the list. But I curled, and so when I think of the ladies that put together the curling bonspiels and Tournament of Hearts, even we had here years ago, things like that, it's been amazing. Like the group of people that you meet is what this is all about, I think.
When you just become, and I'll use the great pun for this, you become the fabric of community, all of you. And I love that we have a variety of ages in this panel. We have a variety of different backgrounds. We have it shows the intricate awesomeness that volunteering can weave into a community. And all of you have been a part of some of the same things, lots of different things. And it's kind of exciting. Bev, what do you think has been the biggest change in volunteering in your 40 years of being in this community?
Trying to find more volunteers, because people as they get older get tired.
Yeah.
And to recruit younger people.
It's okay. Yes. It's up to you. You got to start recruiting your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Except they're the same age.
And we'll be doing this coffee chat 40 years from now, and Kaylee will have won the seniors division, and we'll be recruiting her great grandkids to come and do it. And that's the evolution of volunteering. And I think it's kind of neat. Friends, what would you say I think in the past, people have thought, maybe I don't have enough time to volunteer. We've always sort of viewed volunteering as this big commitment to something. Is it still like that? Can you do bite-sized pockets? I feel like there's been a lot of change there. Whoever wants to go first.
I would agree with you that there has been a lot of change, because that's one of the things that we've noticed with the, especially with the lights around the park, is that there are some people that just show up for putting them up for an hour, one day a year kind of thing. And there are other people that come, they're there every time. So I think it's one of those things, the more hands, the easier the job is. And there's always hot coffee and donuts, and, even with COVID, there's distance chatting. So,
yeah.
It's even, for anybody that's just got 1 hour and they want to, get involved, there's a lot of different opportunities around town to step in.
I love that. Anybody else want to take a stab at that?
I would say something else that makes volunteering easy is to find out, if you see an opportunity that's kind of in your wheelhouse, it's part of your job, or it's a skill that you have, and organizations looking for something like that. It could be a 5-minute job, just making organizations aware, hey, if you need help with this, give me a shout, sort of a thing. So it's something you can find ways to weave it into your kind of your everyday. It doesn't have to be that extra activity that you do. It just can be part of something we have, it's something you can do over lunch, or it's something you could do kind of after supper and you're relaxing or something like that. So it doesn't have to be that big thing. And like Bonnie said, you can weave in and out for how much you can make it as big or as small as you want. And I also wanted to say, on the opposite end, from Trish and Corrine, I didn't come from a volunteering family. So it actually was, it was something, I just wanted to put it out there for people who haven't come from volunteering families. It's, you can still volunteer. Like, it doesn't have to be in your DNA. It can be something you go, hey, I want to contribute. I should go out and do it type thing.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I don't know if this is still being used in the community in High River, but because we have people who join us from all over, I'm a real big fan of this website right here called volunteerconnector.org, and the potential that it has in different communities. And I know that it was being used in High River for a bit. I'm not sure if it still is or not, but it's being used in a number of other communities, definitely across the prairie provinces. And so what this does is you can set up profiles as a volunteer, organizations can set up profiles, and then you can find about volunteer opportunities in the community that you live in. And so I just wanted to share that on today, that, you know, maybe other communities, I know lots of people, when I talk to communities around the country, are always looking for ways of how can we find out there's more volunteering? How do we connect volunteers? How do we find volunteers with opportunities and do that matching? And I really still think the creators of the dating app Bumble need to figure this out, because they have the technology there already. But this is a, you know, a less creepy version of that, I guess you could say. No, I'm just teasing. Volunteerconnector.org. So something you might want to check out in your community or look into if you're somebody who is hoping to connect and keep volunteer opportunities kind of in the forefront. So, because I think that's sometimes the hardest part. I don't know if these volunteers have felt that, because they're sort of already ingrained into some network. But if you're just starting out volunteering, sometimes it's kind of confusing where to start. And two, I think a lot of you have talked and shared today on the panel that I've loved, that a lot of the things are the things that you're passionate about. So would that be, I don't know, maybe some advice from you pro award-winning volunteers, that first find something you're passionate about and contact them? Or how would you suggest people get started in volunteering if they haven't really done that?
I think one thing that's important is that people have to realize that volunteer, it doesn't mean you have to be part of an organization. Volunteering can mean simply picking up your snow shovel and, you know, shoveling off your neighbor's walk, or, you know, knowing your next door neighbor is not feeling well and taking something over for them to eat. I mean, those are the simple things that, and not simple things, but they're the ones that create that, like when you volunteer, like what you get back to it, right? It doesn't have to be a big extravagant thing, and those big extravagant things are great and we need those, but sometimes it's just the simple things. And start there, like just get out in your community, see who's out there, get to know your neighbors, see what they need, see what they, right? And just put yourself out there. So start small, shovel up a person's sidewalk. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody else want to add anything to that?
So I think that's the philosophy that we need to continue with, because often you say to people, well, would you like to join? Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. Well, we're having a bake sale. Could you bake some muffins? Oh, yes, that's easy to do. Love it. So perfect, Tricia. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think nowadays when you hear the want to join, that also doesn't mean it's going to be endless hours of things. Like, you can still join if you're wanting to be a part of something and not feel like you're doing 1,000 hours. But it goes from, you know, if you have an hour here. I was interviewing a volunteer coordinator at a nonprofit this week. And so I said to her, what is kind of the biggest thing that you've been hit over the year of thinking about volunteering? And she said, well, my job is to coordinate volunteers, but it's not been very often that I've, to my personal self, said, what am I going to do in my free time this week? And I thought that was a really interesting self-question, to be like, well, what am I going to do in my free time this week? Everyone on this panel, we know what you're doing in your free time this week, but it can be as simple as that. Like, hey, like on Saturday, I have a couple of hours open that I'm not doing something. You could probably fill it with something simple. So I love all of that. Lorraine, did you want to add to, you were going to chat?
Oh, I was just going to say, highlight two of the things. One that Bev said, looking for something specific rather than, and that could be something on the looking for volunteer side, is coming up with specific things that people can go, oh, I can do that. That makes it a lot easier for people to say, oh, that's where I fit in. And then something else would be in terms of getting involved in starting to volunteer, is just pick something, an event, something around town, wherever you live, that you like, and contact them to say, hey, do you need something? Like libraries are always probably looking for volunteers and stuff like that. The hospital. So if you like any of those things, just contact them and see if they need help with something.
Yeah. I love it. Anybody else? Final words for you? Awesome. Well, I want to be conscious of people's time having coffee with us this morning, but just take a moment again to thank each and every one of you on this panel, and Ev too, who couldn't be with us today. You're all making a huge difference in your community. If it's from 1 hour to 1,000 hours, it means something and it makes a difference. And I know we made you uncomfortable with the recognition, but we just so much appreciate all the things that you're doing and love that you lead by example and just carry those hearts in our community. So thank you for your dedication to making your community better. I love it.
Thanks for having us, Jody.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
Judy.
so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jody.
Thanks, Jody.
Have a great rest of your Saturday, volunteers. Are you going to have a little nap, or do you got things to do? I hope you'll take a break.
It's called another quilt. Another quilt.
I was going to say, it's kind of snowing today, Bev. Get sewing. Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
I love that. And thank you so much for being a part of our panel today, and have a great rest of your Saturday, okay?
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.